we look at 2025, we're looking at a bit over 9 million in revenue and a bit over 1.7 in profits. Great customer experience, great future promise, make it really easy to do business with you. We have a Steve Jobs moment on stage as well, launching the next iPhone, so we do make a show out of it as well. I think what's grossly underestimated is the amount of effort that you need to put into actually contacting the people that you see coming to the event. People will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you make them feel.
Priit, nice to have you online today. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Also good. Have my cappuccino and I'm ready to rock and roll. Today we have something special. So, Nordic Business Forum. What is the business? What does the business do?
Well, it is a conference and it is a business. So it's a company called Nordic Business Forum, and we run a 7,500, I think next year, 8,000 person business event, a leadership conference, 40 plus countries represented in the attendee base, and aimed for C-level leadership as the primary target group.
Interesting. How big is the business? How much top line? How much profit per year?
Depends on the year, of course. But if we look at 2025, we're looking at a bit over 9 million in revenue and a bit over 1.7 in profits.
How does the business make money? Is it just one event per year? That's where you make all of the money? Or how do you make the money? How does this business make money?
It's close to truth. We have most of the revenue connected to the event in one way or form. So we have other people coming to the event, buying tickets. Then we do have a sizable audience also online. So some 25,000 people or so watching us over some form of live stream. So we have different solutions how they do that, but about estimated 30,000 people online. And then there is a selection of partners who come there, utilize the event as a platform to connect their brand with our brand, engage with the customers that we have on site. And then there is maybe small amount of revenue made in other ways throughout the year, but that's the bulk of the business. So basically we can say that our whole company is dependent on 2 days a year because even all of the live stream and partnerships are connected to the event actually taking place in these 2 days. It's a 2-day event.
It could be very stressful, I can imagine. But how the heck do you get 8,000 people to buy a ticket to attend a live event? And how the heck do you get 25,000 people to, I guess, buy an online ticket?
Well, they either buy a single online ticket, but we do have many customers or viewers joining through corporate live stream licenses as well. So you might have a big bank or a telco having our stream in their internal website. So that's one way to kind of provide the content to a wider range of online audience. But it's a good question. I think the proof is in the product. So you kind of need to go product first. I think this is the mindset that we have with Nordic Business Forum, that you make a product that you want to consume yourself, and then well, there are different things that contribute to the fact that I think the big success for us is that you need to keep the customers that you have coming again, and then you get to put your sales efforts into new customer acquisition. But if you have a returning customer base who love you, who sort of have a good, good things to say about you. So word of mouth, I think, plays a big role in our success, keeping the ones that we have, word of mouth, and then active sales efforts. We have a very sales oriented culture in the company as well from the very early days. So we don't rely on marketing only, even though marketing is very important. But from very early on, you don't have a lot of resources to put into marketing. So you actually need to do direct reach out quite a lot. And this is what we have done from the very beginning and still do.
Quick question: like, how big is that sales team? And how big is that sales team? Yeah, how many people you have in the sales team?
Well, just to scope the company still a bit more, we are 24 people, roughly full-time employees, working on the event. And of course, there are many hybrid roles as well, but we have about 8-9 people working on sales, on ticket sales. And then there is some 2-3 people still working on only partnership sales. So a bit over half, or let's say about half of the company is connected to sales in some way or form.
For me, an interesting thing, because I also organized an event here in Latvia. And for me, okay, my ticket prices were from 30 euros till 500. Your ticket prices, I am seeing, were from 500 to 5,000, approximately there. Am I correct?
Well, 500 is a bit, well, the physical event tickets start from 990 at this point. So the about 900 maybe is the on the spot kind of the launch, when we kind of have an offer for our on-site audience. But from 1,000 to close to 5,000 on the highest tier category.
And how much money do you allocate on the acquisition marketing? Like, can you give me a ballpark? Because I can imagine it's a lot of paid ads, or isn't it, right? Can you maybe share some of the kind of KPIs you're looking to hit with some direct response advertising? Because I think to get 8,000 people or 20, it's a big number. I know how tough was it to get 750 people. I cannot imagine 8,000 to get in one place.
Yeah, so part of it is direct advertising in paid ads and so on. We do a lot of content marketing as well. So actually putting our content out there, which obviously spreads organically, but you need to put some money into that as well. What would I say? We have, well, a bit. I'm cautious on like
you can just
absolute
say,
numbers.
We spend 3 million on ads. Just say it. I guess I can imagine is it above 1 million or below 1 million in ads?
Below. It's in the range of 200,000, I think, in ads.
Oh, really? So little? That's not a lot. I was thinking it's way higher. Wow, that's not a lot.
Yeah, if you take like directly related to the event, then there are some general marketing that we do as a company as well. But as said, I think we rely a lot on organic reach and also on sales efforts and return customers. We start the event, or maybe just good for you to understand as well that the amount of tickets that we need to sell actively is not the 8,000. We usually have quite good success in the launch of the event, which we do 1 year ahead. So we just had our 2024 event in September, and then typically we have a very good offer for the customers that we have on site that trusted us this year. And then we sold 5,000 tickets with 4 hours. And then you have 3,000 tickets that you need to sell throughout the year. But we start with 5,000 as the starting point.
Wow, that's so interesting. It happens on the event day, yes? Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
What is the strategy to do it? Because it sounds really interesting. So it sounds you got 8 people to come, and then at the end of the event, you sell like 5,000 units immediately the next year's ticket. Like, how do you do that? What is the kind of the sausage or the sauce to do it?
Yeah, well, it starts with the great customer experience, which is, I think, one of our key differentiating factors on the market. We pay a lot of attention into how the customers are treated at the event, how is the event program design as well. So our narrative is such that business conferences don't need to be boring. So the kind of usefulness of the content and exciting presentations are not mutually exclusive. They complement one another. And so it starts with an exciting conference experience, great customer experience at the event, and that you provide real value for the people. And then you present with an attractive offer for a very limited time. So we want to get their sort of answers in a very short period of time during a 4-hour window. And we make it really easy for them. So that is one key as well. So you basically, we just send them also an SMS and email and ask if you want to come and back next year. And we do all of the back end work after that. And there is a 30-day cancellation period as well. So even if people kind of want to reconsider their choice, that they have a way out, but it's easy for them to, if they like the experience, they want to come back. They have an easy way to make the decision. And of course, you need to have the promise of the future attractive enough. So we work with our speakers and the lineup very early on. We have launched 8 speakers already for the year in advance. So one year in advance. So you kind of have a good enough certainty that the event will be attractive, useful. You know a good amount of the speakers already. We bring on board maximum, say like 12 speakers. So 2/3 of it is already what you know, and then you have some surprises along the way. So great customer experience, great future promise, and then make it really easy to do business with you.
And the interesting thing I want to ask you, there is nobody on stage selling them this, or is it just like email and SMS to get them to buy it?
No, it is a bit of a Steve Jobs moment on stage as well, launching the next iPhone. So we do make a show out of it as well.
Who sells it? You sell it, or you have some specific person that does it, or one of the speakers does it, or who does it?
Well, the company, if you go back to the roots as well. So I'm a CEO of Nordic Business Forum. I've been working with the company 13 years now, and last 3.5 years I've been a CEO. But the company is founded by, like back in the days, 2 students in central Finland. And one of the founders is very much involved in the event production as well, and is also kind of a face of the conference in this launch setting as well. So Hans Petter, by the name, is launching the next year's event typically.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. It seems very interesting. And quick question: if the price is let's say 1,000, do you give a super huge discount for them to buy right now the next year, or how? What's like you said this sweet spot? What is it? Or you do it or don't do it?
Well, there needs to be some kind of an incentive to do it in a kind of limited amount of time. So yes, there is a price incentive as well. It is quite big if you compare it to the retail price, the end price. We typically have prices going up every 2 months or so, so that you get early decisions also along the way. But from the next price, it's typically €100 difference compared to what you can buy on the following day or in 5 hours.
The question in this kind of business, it's like very focused on 2 days per year. It seems very, that revenue is only going to come in like 2 months before the event. So what is the reality of this type of business in terms of your stability, revenue generation? You told me most revenue comes at the event and maybe right before, or how is it like compared to your yearly, let's say business yearly kind of time frame?
Yeah, so the revenue and cash flow are a bit different things here. But let's say we book the revenue, or we kind of sell the tickets at launch, let's say 5,000 tickets in 4 hours, then typically a good part of them are paid within 30 days. So we have a 30-day window of invoices, but some customers also want their invoice to be in the calendar year that the event takes place. So we actually do have an option where customers can opt for an invoice in January, and then there is a 30-day due date then. So you start to gradually build it up along the way. And as you have like sales progress, then you get also the invoices paid. And last year we sold out, I think, in August. So I think what's different to us is that, and it's maybe even needed in this scale of an event in our model, that you get the decisions early on. And I think it's a win-win for the customers as well, because we as organizers would not be able to commit money to production, to high quality speakers, if we didn't have the confidence that the people will be there. And if people kind of do their decisions earlier, we get to commit also to a great production experience for them. So yeah, that is the kind of annual clock. Maybe the weakest sort of if I look at where is the weakest point in cash flow, is like you have just committed some expenses for launching the next event. You have all of the expenses coming in about this event that you just delivered, and the customers haven't yet started to pay their invoices to the following year. So that's about the dynamics of the year.
Yeah, it's what do you think in these events? Let's say, because most people organizing events lose money. They don't make money with events. That's like most people, because many businesses think, yeah, let's do an event, let's get customers, grow our business. Most times they fail. They lose money. In my experience, maybe half the events I actually make some money, and half of the events I brutally lose money. What have you noticed to be kind of the key, most important thing you need to get right for these events to actually hit, so people buy and people come? Maybe venue, maybe speakers, like a top speaker. No, of course you are gonna say past experience. That's cool. But let's say your new event. Like, what are the key thing you need if you want to do like a forum conference that will help you to sell more and get kind of some success with this?
Well, at first, I think you need to think long term if you build up an event. We have also, after gaining initial success, so again, going back to the history, the first events that our company did was in 2010. So we built up traction along the way, and then you get to build on past experiences, and you develop a customer base, marketing channels. You get better at doing the event as well. But we did have we started new events in new markets as well along the way. We did events in Sweden, in Norway. So that was kind of the question that you asked, that we, even with us, we're an experienced team. We went to new markets, started anew, no previous track record of customers. We lost money in the first years in doing events in Sweden and Norway. So if you want to differentiate on high quality lineup and production value, you probably invest more than you get back. So one thing, think long term and have a plan into a multi-year success plan, not a 1 year success plan. Of course, ideally, every event is like break even or on a plus side, even on a single year. You might actually have an event that you plan to do only once, if it's maybe a corporate celebration or such. Then I think what's grossly underestimated is the amount of effort that you need to put into actually contacting the people that you see coming to the event. And in our case as well, it's easy to believe that you bring some superstar speaker and the person's name is such that it sells. And if you're lucky, that is the case. But most speakers in most events are not so good, or at least not so well known, that they sell tickets on their own. Like, you need to do the work, and you need to have a plan how you get the people that you want to be there. And then we go into the mechanics of pricing and price, like increase psychology and such, but have enough buffer time in the sales period as well. Meaning, like if you do it like very close to like the event actually happening, you don't have any time to sell, you don't have any time to market, and if you don't have a brand as well that you can rely on. I mean, if you're a company and you have like good marketing pipes through like selling your other products, and maybe you have a community that you build the event for, then you probably have a better success rate than starting off from scratch. So there are different use cases, but it's interesting that you have noticed the same, that it's not an easy business to be in, and it's not an easy business to make money as well. It's quite brutal.
Exactly.
Reality.
So it sounds very impressive when you said 1.7 EBITDA. So it sounds very impressive. Yeah, that's very impressive. What about the pricing? Like, how do you go about that? For my events, like what I have done before, I didn't even think about costs. I was just like, I want maximum amount of people and I want them to buy something. So they're like more committed. So I was like, okay, let's start with 50 euros and then let's up them. Let's say VIPs, 500, let's go with it. So what is your advice for kind of pricing tickets for this type of businesses?
Well, one thing is advice, and the other thing is personal philosophy. I'll start with the latter. So one of our founding values at Nordic Business Forum was fair deals. So we have priced the tickets so that it feels that companies can afford it, and it's sort of we make our kind of economics work through volume, that we need to have enough of the people in the event for the kind of production costs to make sense, right? And I think you need to consider the market that you're in. We are in a B2B market, so there is a difference as well. You have different events also in leadership space where like you need to think like, are you tapping into a B2C market or a B2B market? Are companies buying the tickets, or are individuals or small company owners or people buying with their own personal budgets? And then the pricing is dependent on that. Whether you have a one-day conference, two-day conference, do you have food included or not? I think there are certain events that, okay, personal budgets up to 200 euro. If you have a one-day corporate event, maybe up to 600-ish in our region, at least. And then in the two-day space, I think we're in the sweet spot there. So we do sell most of the tickets under 1,000 euro, and then part of the tickets depends on the category as well. But if we talk about the most affordable price category, then mid 2000s. But it depends on the value offer as well. Like it needs to be making sense if you look at the production value that you give to the customers, and the speaker value that you also do give to the customers.
What do you think about the Tony Robbins business? They do like I think like gajillion events per year, virtual, online. Ticket price is also not cheap. Maybe a little bit less the virtual ones, but the in-person ones, I think it's pretty much the same. What do you think about his business model? And maybe for you, why don't you do more events? Because you could also do maybe 3 events, 4 events. Like, why just one? You know, it seems, what's the logic behind it? And what do you think about Tony? And then the second, what about the logic?
Well, Tony is a legend. So he's a personal brand. He is, well, he has a good organization behind him as well. I think the way that they do sales is quite different compared to us. They have a lot of agent networks there working in different markets, and seems to be, I've been to one in London as well. So he has a working machine. I think he as a person is the value proposition, and a great one. So yeah, I think inspiration for his model as well. I think there are good nuggets that he has sort of developed in the business model. For us, why don't we do more events? I think it's a matter of resources. And okay, actually on a group level we do. So we Nordic Business Forum got started in central Finland, Jyväskylä, in the early 2010 or so. And throughout the years, like I said, we started to do events in Sweden, Norway, and we kind of pivoted our strategy a bit. And now we are expanding through M&A in those kind of new markets where there is an existing team also and maybe an existing event, and we kind of bring our expertise into to scale and do it better. So on a group level, we actually do have more events in Amsterdam, in Oslo, in London. For us at Nordic Business Forum, we do some customer events, smaller gatherings, but it's a matter of resources. So far, there has been, like you might remember, there was this thing called COVID as well, and there was a period in time where you couldn't do events. We had to cancel our event.
You canceled
2
it?
years in a row.
Didn't do a virtual one? Okay, you canceled. Okay.
Well, we canceled this, and the virtual ones we did on top, but we didn't kind of, if you bought into a physical event, we didn't force you into a digital one. Then you either had the way out, you could get your money back, or roll your ticket onwards. And many customers luckily did so. But then that being said, so our current sales engine and marketing engine up until I think this year has still consumed pretty much the timeline that we have. And if you start to do other events on the side, then you need to either scale the organization or you kind of jeopardize losing focus, and there is alternative cost into the energy that people have. So you could either do this that's working really well, or you put that energy and sacrifice a bit of that what's doing well to do other things. But ideally, of course, if you have resources, if you are willing to up the resources, then it's an option. But we have chosen the path to keep the focus. I think that's important.
I think, Priit, for me and maybe other people who are looking at this space, how do you get Oprah Winfrey, Stephen Bartlett to come to your events? Those people I just know. Other people maybe also famous, but I don't know them. Like, how do you get these people to come to the events, be a speaker? You just throw money at them, or you have some like way how you do it?
Well, we have, of course, both of them. Stephen, of course, is a newer name in the market. Oprah has been there as a legend for a long period of time. So obviously she has been in our list in multiple years. So you don't succeed maybe in your dream list every single year. So you work year after year after year, and then sometimes you kind of have a strike and stars align, the travel schedules work out, you have the finances in place as well, which is important in this space as well. But I mean, individually speaking, it's a matter of kind of the circumstances being right. But on a more broader level, I think you need to really focus on also the speaker experience, the reputation that you have on the market, so that people in that area also talk to each other. And you have speaker agents as well, which is maybe a new territory for some, but most of the people are represented by some kind of a middleman in between. So there are companies that pool the talent together, and then they offer it to different conference organizers. And you need to kind of validate and vet who are the actual serious players, because in the speaker agency market as well, you have fancy websites where all the top names are listed, but there is actually nothing behind it. Like, they don't have connections to these people. So throughout the years, throughout like personal relationships, you need to validate who are the credible speaker agencies who have real connections to the speakers. And then you need to work with the other things, schedules and money and so on.
For me, it's this curiosity in my ear. It's bugging me. How much you need to pay, let's say, Oprah for her to speak at your event?
You would probably understand if I say that I cannot disclose that due to contractual obligations. But if you go into Google and you get a range, and I think the range that you get is realistic, and you can choose which part of the range you want to then anchor yourself into.
Okay. Google doesn't give me immediately a number, but okay. I can imagine it's from 10 to 100K. I can imagine, maybe more, but yeah. But okay, thank you for at least something. But I think many people would be really appreciative of you to share. How do you get like CEOs, companies to buy event tickets? Because many businesses want to attract CEOs, high-level executives, like they're their clients, they want to get these people to kind of come to them. What have you found as a marketing, maybe marketing channels, maybe marketing messaging, like how to attract these people? Because I can imagine there's not everyday people buy ticket 1K to come to a 2-day event, right? But what have you found that you could share that would be valuable for other people who also want more, CEOs to attract?
Well, there are typically a few reasons why companies, people, anybody attends, and one is that you get utility value out of the content, but the other thing is that you get utility value out of the people who attend. So who are the other people who come to the event? So I think with the higher up you go in the leadership ladder, in the C-suite, the more important it is that you have their peers in the event as well. So if you have a way to build confidence that their peers will be there at the event, that they can network and build relationships, that is a key thing. So you might have read this book by Robert Cialdini called Influence, right? So there are different levels of persuasion, but social proof is definitely one of them. So you can build social proof by showcasing who else is there, and starting with the speakers. Many times corporate events are done so that the guest is also in the stage and then continues networking. So the stage persona is a proxy into who might be in the audience as well. So if you can commit with personal relationships or direct contacting, if you go cold, that you start from the top, and then you can at least present that, hey, the CEO of that company, or you can present a list of reputable brands or a few names. If you have opt-in for sharing the attendee list, then you get to build from there. So that's maybe one that I would leave you with.
I also did my research, and I see that you have you're generating leads with executive summaries where you're advertising. I guess you can get presentation slides from the previous speakers or event speakers, and you're generating leads that way. Is that a good way for you to also sell tickets, or is it just why are you doing that?
Yeah, well, for sure. We sent the executive summary for all the past participants without the lead form, and we actually put a lot of effort into solidifying the learnings from the event, so that our goal is that the companies, the leaders, when they go after when they go into their own companies and continue on their own, that there is something done with the content, that it's not just inspiration, but it goes into some form of practice. So that's the primary role of creating that executive summary. So to deepen the learnings, to deepen the knowledge and put it into practice. But once you've done it, of course, like for new audiences, how do you convey the future promise of a value? It's based on past experience, and then you know that, okay, that was the essence of last event. Seems useful. Okay, this is the promise of the future. I want to kind of tap into the future promise and get on-site experience.
This is
Video,
maybe
super important, I think, is video to kind of play nuggets of the content and kind of also convey the event atmosphere. That I think, well, we have a tagline, or kind of we utilize a quote as well by Maya Angelou into people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And then that's a big focus on us in the event. But then you get a proxy of how people feel when you see images and footage, video footage of other people attending. So that's an important one.
What do you do about the recordings? You use them, you put them online, you resell them. What do you do with the event recordings?
We, first of all, give it to all our attendees for on-demand viewing for 90 days in most cases, where we have the permission from the speaker. So again, this serves the purpose into you getting more value out of attending. So we actually do have quite a lot of companies who do internal events around our content, either live or they chunk it up in different pieces and take, like, maybe leadership attends the event, and then they say, okay, this speaker, like, the message was spot on into what we're tackling now. I have the recording, let's put it up on a big screen, let's kind of tackle this issue as a team, and then you have 90 days to do that. We don't monetize it afterwards, so we don't sell recordings afterwards. And we kind of then use the snippets of speeches in social media marketing and
interesting.
1-2 minute clips and so on.
This is again super nuanced, because I had this problem when you have the guests, no speakers. How is your process for you to know what they're gonna speak about? Because I had this problem where one speaker was starting to talk like, I don't know what he was talking about. It was not cool. And he was, because I didn't check it, I was like, Davai, you're a good guy. You have big business. Come talk about this topic, because I told him the topic he needs to talk about. And then he comes and he basically, blah, like, it's not great. So what's your process in this? You tell the speaker what they're going to speak about. They say what they can speak about. Like, what's that? And I mean keynote specifically, not just like, Q&A, some topic.
Yeah, so we work a lot into the narrative building. So every event we have one big theme. Let's say in 2026, we have the human edge as the big theme, and then we have performance, collaboration, and decision-making as the sub-themes. And actually in the sort of speaker booking phase, we already keep that narrative in mind into, okay, what's the job to be done for that speaker? What is the message that we want to connect to, and where does he sit in the agenda? So that there is also a logical arc, like narrative arc, that it's not like, okay, we talk about this, then we kind of move there, then we again move back. It's a bit hard to follow, but if you kind of design a good narrative arc, then it's actually also sort of like a wish list or a to-do list for the speaker, that it's easier for them to prepare, that they understand, okay, what's my role in the context of this event and this whole audience. And then we do have speaker briefing calls well before the event, and then maybe closer to the event as well, to align on logistics and on on-site program. But months before the event, we have the briefing call into what we want the content to be, and we also brief them into where do they sit in relation to other speakers, meaning like what is the topics that other speakers are planned to cover. So these kinds of surprises that you're mentioning, like we try to avoid them wherever possible.
Yeah. Fact: Finland, 5.6 million people. Latvia, 1.8 million people. How many percentages your audience that come to these events? Let's say next year you have Finland, Helsinki. No, it's Finland. But how many percentage of them are Finnish, and what percentage are people who don't live in Finland?
We have, I think, about 70% Finns at the moment, and then 30% or so abroad. Baltics is, for example, already now it's 2,000 people from the Baltics.
Coming to Finland, right? Oh, interesting.
Coming to Finland. So they are the biggest market as well. Estonia, about 1,200, Lithuania, about 600, and then Latvia, what's left, 250, something, 300 people has been so far. And then there is a long tail of 40 plus countries that are represented with sort of, I don't know, tens to maybe big kind of 100 people from one company, but country, sorry.
I know one of my friends was in your event this year. So he also invited me to come, but I couldn't come because of the dates, but it's very interesting. And why am I saying that? Because I was just thinking that let's say you have an event in Latvia, you're thinking, okay, Latvia is like 4 times maybe smaller. And then if you can get 1,000 people in Latvia, is similar to if you could get 4,000 Finnish people to come to something similar. Not just, it was this thinking.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think a cool topic would be, there's so many events happening, many events. I think there's every day an event. How do you differentiate the kind of the value proposition? You had this good idea. I liked it, that one big topic and then 3 smaller subtopics about the big topic. But how do you pick or think about the big topic so it would be relevant to this B2B audience, to this kind of entrepreneurs, C-level people? How do you think about that?
I would play with the word customer intimacy, or being close to customers, social listening. So you need to understand what's the life that your customers are living, what are the problems that they are struggling with. So we try to be very close to our customers, have one-to-one conversations into, okay, broadly, like what are you struggling with? And throughout the year, because now we already need to think 2027, right? We are in November 2025 now. We have locked all things for 2026. So we kind of need to start thinking into what the world is going to look like, and what are the power dynamics in society and so on. And sometimes we need to do changes along the way. I mean, the emergence of AI was so sudden that I think in 2022, I might be wrong with the year, but either 3 or 2, I think it was 2. We didn't have AI in the topic, but it suddenly emerged and became so relevant in society that you need to tap into it. And then we kind of adjusted and added one more subtopic into the theme, which worked well back then.
Yeah, I still think it's super relevant, maybe like a Nordic Business AI Forum, right? Like all about this AI stuff is.
It is, and next year as well, we will touch on it, but we take a different angle into it, like looking into what will be the role of a human in a technology-driven world, and how do you collaborate with, humans, but how do you collaborate with technology as well, when maybe half of your workforce is at some point agentic.
Maybe 2 last things, which I think will be interesting. Priit, if you now started a business, what business would you start? Would that be an event business or something else?
That's a good question. Probably now, since I've been in the best event business that I have, I can think of, then I would need to start something new, but probably something that connects with hospitality in some way or form as well. I'm a big fan of making people feel good.
Okay. And last one, I think, how can businesses use events to grow their companies? Like, what would your advice be? And that business maybe is not a event business, but they're just a business, like a B2B business, doesn't B2C business. But how can they use events to grow their business? What would be your advice for them?
Well, you can draw inspiration from many companies. If you look at the big tech companies, all of them pretty much have their own events. If you look at Salesforce, they have Dreamforce as tens of thousands of people coming together. But you have a community. You educate your customers. You kind of lift up your thought leadership in a topic. So there is like, you can utilize the event as like a tool to create content that you can distribute throughout the year in your marketing mix. So think of events as a strategic pillar in your marketing mix, and capture as many assets as you can during the event. And you can think of it in different ways. You can do your own event where you control the agenda. You're part of the organizing force as well, but then you can attach yourself into events that have the audience that you're looking for. So that's another way which can be maybe more cost effective in some cases. But if you have a community, let's say you're working in HR software, you kind of can define that HR manager are your interesting target group, and how do you make their life better, how to educate them. And then don't go thinking that this is a sales event. Go with the approach that you will educate people, build relationships, and then the relationships will play out in the long run. So I think that's how I would think about it if I was not in the event business, but want to do something with events in the marketing narrative.
Priit, thank you for your time. I got so many ideas because I have done events, and now you got my spark again to maybe do the next one, maybe like 10 times bigger, try to hit 7,500 people, but need to do it probably in English, so maybe people from Finland could come also. But so thank you for your time, thank you for the knowledge, and thank you for the sharing. And I hope our audience also appreciated you coming on the show and sharing your lessons.
Thank you for inviting, and looking forward to your next event then.
Yes, and then maybe we need to go with, I need to talk to my Matis to go to 2026 to Nordic Business Forum. That would be cool to see Oprah. I would like to see Oprah. Cool. Thank you for coming.
You're in the same space with
right?
Stephen Bartlett as well. So
yeah, this is similar, right? Learn from the best, go to there. Cool. Thank you. Nice.
Thanks.
Cool.